Okay, folks. Welcome. Um, so in a moment we'll sit, but just to say that a lot of different ways we can break down sitting, but illuminate the different facets of what is entailed by meditation. Uh, but one distinction that feels important to me is we're learning to train the attention, that kind of attentional spotlight. And we're learning to stay open, to not let the awareness collapse, even when intensity is running through our system, through body and mind. And we can get over identified with the attentional facet of practice, of focus, this breaths, the kind of stillness, seclusion. But part of why we do that actually is to strengthen the capacity just to stay uncollapsed amidst intensity. And we study collapse at a kind of micro level. It may not happen in some major meltdown during a sit, but there are little micro meltdowns where something, even just the urge to scratch an itch is a subtle kind of meltdown that we pay attention to. Okay, how did that happen? How did we get kind of overrun? And we pay attention to those little micro collapses because uh, they happen in more significant ways in our lives. So what does it mean to actually stay open, even as the kind of channels, the affective, emotional channels are stimulated and might lead us to the kind of awareness collapsing into that intensity. So we're directing the attention and then keeping a certain kind of poise amidst the intensity. So let's practice. So without laying too many conceptual maps on what meditation is, we just take our posture, take our posture. And we kind of trust that there's enough goodness here to fuel our meditation forever. The intensity that is life seems to beg the awareness to collapse, kind of claustrophobia of problem solving. But we practice staying open, broadening the awareness. Raising the kind of threshold of intensity that can be tolerated without devolving into problem solving. And we notice with patience, forgiveness, we notice the ways that intensity lures us into the problem solving mode. Awareness collapses. Very innocent movements of our mind. And here we're exploring just knowing intensity without being seduced into the fantasy of solving it. So we establish this openness, a certain kind of reverence for the First Noble Truth, that there is dukkha, intensity. And then when we direct attention to our breathing or body, soundscape, the attention doesn't feel so brittle. The seclusion, settledness, refuge, stillness is supported by relinquishment. Any given moment is imperfect, but awareness makes it good enough. We're attending the simple way, and I hear a kind of siren song of maximization, optimizing the moment, solving problems, carefully tracking threat, opportunity, awareness collapses. You just reestablish that openness by blessing the intensity with okayness, reestablishing a sense of the open field of awareness. And maybe before it feels safe again to just be with a kind of attentional anchor, the breath or the body may just have to reestablish this sense of okayness, of intensity. It's okay. Let the energy unwind in the body. The only thing better than solving our problems is not solving them. Okay, good to sit with you. The only thing better than solving our problems is not solving them. I mean, what is that? I don't know where that came from. Sorry, uh, it makes sense in the moment, you know. Okay, so faith, doubt. Um, the Buddha said that if we get stuck in doubt, it's like being lost in a desert without the map, you know. And one conception of information That information is the reduction of uncertainty, the reduction of uncertainty. And every moment is rife with uncertainty. You know, we're so hungry for data to clarify, exactly as the Buddha said, moment, so open, hungry to reduce the uncertainty of the moment. And the information that we get is through our senses and through the mind, and this reduces the level of uncertainty. Doubt is the absence of trustworthy information. And so uncertainty, indecision abounds. And we don't know what to trust in doubt. We don't know what to trust, where to look, where to harvest data from, where there's this kind of like frenzy in the looking, hungry for information, but can't find it. And we don't know how to interpret what we do encounter, what we do encounter. And so it's like, uh, all noise, no signal. And people in doubt, they tend to kind of like really bounce around one mind-made narrative to another, kind of swinging between, vacillating between different stories that may be highly incompatible. And it's like this grappling with the static and of doubt and all these kind of, mind-made plans, ideas, frameworks, but they emerge not out of any kind of deep sense of groundedness, embodiment. They're just trying to overlay some conceptual narrative on this basic sense of uncertainty. And in that state, we might be especially kind of influenced by the views of others, over trusting others. We look to kind of like, okay, what's the prevailing views or something? Maybe that's it. Maybe I get my information, from there. And we tend to really get lost in the world of thought and rumination, and thoughts just feel so real. They feel like the most important data is da, 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 da. And it's a little like we sort of keep taking our thoughts out for test drives, but the ride never feels quite right. Test, float it, float it. Now, part of why people get mired in doubt is that they ask the practice to do things that it can't do. We get mired when we are asking the practice to do things it can't do. The practice will not insulate us from the ungovernable tides of pleasure and pain. The practice cannot insulate us from the changingness of all things. We get mired in doubt when we try to outsmart the First Noble Truth. That's part of what I was alluding to in the sit. It was like, okay, can we just not collapse amidst the intensity of the First Noble Truth, even just here on this day, together in this lovely Sangha, just to stay still is intense. And that kind of encounter really with the First Noble Truth can lure us into the fantasy that if I just kind of could think hard enough, could harvest enough information from my thoughts, I'd find the answer. But often there's no answer. There's not an answer exactly to the First Noble Truth. Dukkha is coming for all of us, regardless of what we are thinking. And so to imagine the kind of dukkha-free path when we're at some fork in the road, that leads us into doubt. We know those moments where it's just like, oh, I'm at this fork. Like maybe is it just a two-pronged fork or something? Can I go? Is there a third way? Is there some dukkha-free path? And we just spin in doubt. Sometimes our craving for certainty is what actually creates the doubt. Certainty is going to elude us, right? But our craving for it is what leads us to spin into doubt. So Aristotle said something like, wisdom satisfied with the degree of precision that the nature of the subject admits and doesn't seek exactness where only approximation is possible. In formal practice, doubt manifests as sometimes as like uncertainty about technique. You know, should I do vipassana or metta? As like this kind of like Dharma FOMO, like there's I'm missing something, Or doubt manifests as the kind of rush to fit all the puzzle pieces of the Dharma together, just to like make everything square with everything else. Or doubt manifests as getting mired in kind of theoretical questions, of sometimes doubt is like with a sense of like, oh yeah, we're performing meditation for someone, even if that someone is just our own inner audience, our own, meditation superego or something, or performing for the teacher or something. But it's like that's an expression of a certain kind of doubt. And faith simplifies things. So much relaxes amidst faith. We're we're no longer hungry to confirm that we're on the right path. We're no longer kind of so preoccupied with doing it right. We know we're just going to keep going. And of course, we're doing it right and wrong, and we're going to learn. We're going to grow. Sharon Salzberg speaks about faith as, written her book, Faith, as the process by which you come to trust your own experience. I think that might even be the subtitle of the book. It's like coming to trust your own deepest experience. There's a kind of power in that. In our faith, a certain kind of independence grows. We start to know what to trust, and it engenders patience and it doesn't matter anymore how long something takes, how long the path is going to keep going. And Ajahn Sajito likened faith to like a hinge point on the door. And once that hinge is set, the door is gonna swing open sometime, you know. the teacher's job is mostly to get, maybe it's to get people to the point where that hinge is set, or the point where, in a sense, there's no going back. And once a person's there, once there's no going back, mostly the job of the teacher is just cheerleading, you know, and that door will swing open. That door will swing open. And so the Dharma doesn't feel like a choice we have to keep making. It doesn't feel like a choice we have to keep making. There's faith. So offer this for your consideration, and yeah, I wish you a rich day of practice, of attending, of staying open, poised amidst intensity, uh, and entrusting your heart to what's trustworthy. Okay, see you tomorrow.